Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with an episode of Ignition Time where I answer the question, can the president actually send out second stimulus checks? Can the president extend federal unemployment benefits? Can the president provide more paycheck protection program money? And can the president send aid to states and local businesses without congressional approval? In this video, I'm going to go over two things. First, what was the purpose of President Trump's executive orders? It's important for you to understand that because that will give you a sense of the big picture. And number two, can all of the things that the president is trying to do happen without congressional approval? Now, as you know, today, the president in his tweets announced something that was extremely interesting. The president said he wants to send out more stimulus checks, $3,400 to a family of four. The president wants to do more paycheck protection programs, which by the way are very important because this money goes to small businesses, which allows small businesses to retain jobs locally because almost half of all jobs in the United States of America come from small businesses. And the president also said he wanted to provide more money to struggling states. And he said that Democrats are blocking all of this. So you can see the tweets on your screen right now. And the president has been very clear that he wants to do this, but the Democrats are holding him up. And Nancy Pelosi specifically said in a press conference yesterday, and I will provide you with the link to that press conference in the description below, as well as my analysis of that press conference. She said she would be willing to negotiate with the Republicans if they came back with a number of $2 trillion because they've been stuck at $1 trillion as far as she's concerned. So there is gridlock there. And it seems like what the president is trying to do is to try and break through the gridlock. So let's analyze the purpose of the president's actions. Many individuals did indeed see politics at play. Now you can call it a genius move, a master stroke, a political master move, a chess move, whatever you want to call it. Some would say it's a negotiating tactic to put pressure in the court of public opinion on the Democrats so that the Democrats get back to the negotiating table. Others would call it an empty gesture, an empty promise that lacks substance because the executive orders by their very nature can't really do much. I mean, if you look at the eviction executive order, it basically provides a set of recommendations to agencies, and that's pretty much the extent of it. As far as the unemployment benefit extension was concerned, it's not part of the federal unemployment benefit program because that has to be appropriated by Congress. It was setting up a new program called the Lost Wages Assistance Program. And many states have said that they are simply not going to be able to pull off the program. So there have been a lot of hurdles. And by the way, that could be the reason why the president is now taking this new approach, this new strategy to try and put pressure on the Democrats in the court of public opinion. Now, the president has issued executive orders, and some would say this is an opportunity for the president to level the playing field and bring Democrats back to the negotiating table. In fact, Trump's advisor Stephen Moore said, and in his words, it was a master stroke. That's what Stephen Moore said. For the last month or two, conservatives have been in a funk. They've been very demoralized. It looks like Trump would totally cave to Pelosi. And there are other individuals who had a completely different perspective. The New York Times' Jim Tankersley noted, if negotiations falter now and aid remains scarce for people and businesses, the president will need to make the case for why the symbolism of acting alone, this is important, the symbolism of acting alone won out over the far-reaching consequences of an actual stimulus deal. So the symbolic nature of these executive orders, the sort of approach that, hey, I was the one that did something. No one did anything. I was the one that tried to break through the gridlock. Could be something that the president tries to use politically and in the court of public opinion. That's what the New York Times is saying. That is what the New York Times is saying. Now, let's be clear. Real stimulus, a second stimulus check, federal unemployment benefits, state and local aid, as well as the Paycheck Protection Program extension, all of these things do indeed require congressional approval because the power of the purse does indeed rest with Congress. In fact, the White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, who's one of the key White House lead negotiators with U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, he specifically said, and I quote him, the downside of executive orders is that you cannot address some of the small business incidents that are out there. You cannot necessarily get direct payments because it has to do with appropriations, meaning appropriations from Congress. That's something that the president does not have the ability to do. So you miss out on those two key areas. You miss out on money for schools. You miss out on any funding for state and local revenues and state and local revenue needs that might be out there. Now, there was a bipartisan statement that was issued by many state governors. The statement read, "The best way forward is for Congress and the administration to get back to the negotiating table and come up with a workable solution." Now, just so that my viewers and subscribers know, within the federal government of the United States, as per the Constitution of the United States, the power of the purse is vested with Congress. So Congress basically appropriates funds. In fact, the power of the purse plays a critical role within the framework of the United States to establish the relationship between Congress and the United States. And it has been the main historic tool by which Congress has actually limited the powers of the president. It's been the main tool by which Congress has limited executive power. Now, there have been many examples in the past. In fact, in the 1980s, we had the Iran-Contra scandal, where the Reagan administration basically attempted to circumvent Congress. So you can look that up, you can Google that. And in 2012, the Supreme Court got involved because there was some discord between the president and Congress as far as the Affordable Care Act was concerned. So this deviation or this difference in thinking between the president and Congress when it comes to the appropriations of money is not something new. In fact, it's happened many times during the history of the United States. But what makes this situation so different and so unique is we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. We've never seen a situation like this before. If anything, I believe that this sort of a situation calls for more cooperation between Congress and the president, as opposed to each side sort of going their separate way and trying to win these public battles and trying to sort of further divide us. Because what happens is, a lot of us end up taking sides in this situation. Some of us are supporters of the president, some of us are supporters of the Democrats, and it ends up creating more and more discord and more partisanship. I just wish, I don't have a magic wand, but if I did, I just wish that they would see eye to eye and come to some sort of a negotiation as quickly as possible. Right now, the way things stand is that lawmakers have actually adjourned for several weeks, and they can be called back with 24 hours advance notice. But right now, the gridlock, the stalemate is so significant that I don't see anything happening. And hopefully, in one way, shape or form, whatever's happening leads to some sort of a negotiation. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new from this video. If you did, please click the like button below. Please also subscribe and enable notifications so you get instant updates from us going forward. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, check out my channel, check out the homepage video where you can learn more about my story, how I managed to create my own American dream, and I'd love to be able to teach you how to do the same. I share my life lessons and what's allowed me to get to the next level and how I can help you get there. So definitely check out my video. I would really appreciate that. If you want to get breaking news and alerts from us, get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, because remember, the name of our channel is Ignition Time, and then you'll get added to our list, and then you can opt out at any time. If you agree to a quick disclaimer, we can send you emails as well, and you can opt out of those emails as well. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. I'm looking forward to seeing you on our channel. Let me know in the description section below what you think of essentially the president's actions, and whether you agree with them or whether you disagree with them, whether you agree with the constitutional framework of the United States, where Congress has the power of the purse and Congress appropriates funds. And again, there has been this sort of conflict, if you will, between the president and Congress at other points in time in our history, but none of those have compared to this, because this is this is severe, this is intense, this is a showdown, if you will. And I'm hoping, and all of this is happening literally weeks before the election. So you can see where things stand right now. And on top of that, millions of us are stuck in between waiting for help. There's never been a moment like this in the history of our country. I want to know what you think about the power of the purse with Congress. About, by the way, by the president's own admission, he cannot do a lot of the things that he wants to do, that he announced in his tweets today. And again, you'll see those tweets here on your screen. The president wants to support stimulus checks. The president wants to send out more paycheck protection program money. And the president also wants to send more aid to state and local governments. The president did say that he needs support from Democrats to do that. So let me know what you think in the description section below about all of these moves that are happening in DC today. I'd love to know what you think. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please click like below. Please click subscribe, and please enable notifications so you get instant updates from us going forward. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.